Today I'll be talking about the multiplication of the 5 loaves and 2 fish by Jesus in Mark chapter 6. At that time, when Jesus went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when it grew late, his disciples came to him and said, "This is a desolate place, and the hour is now late. Send them away to go into the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." But he answered them, "You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "Shall we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give it to them to eat?" And he said to them, "How many loaves do you have? Go and see." And when they had found out, they said, 5 loaves and 2 fish. Then he commanded them all to sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups, by hundreds and by 50s. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing, and broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples to set before the people. And he divided the 2 fish among them all. And they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 12 baskets full of broken pieces and of the fish. And those who ate the loaves were 5,000 men. What we can learn from this is that Jesus took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and offered it up to God the Father. Our role is to put others before us, to care for the needs of the sick, the lonely, the poor, the destitute, those cast out, marginalized, without worrying about lack. Because everything is from God and He is the divine providence, we should just do whatever God's will is. Wherever He sends us, whatever He asks us to do that, and He will take care of the rest. And God's role is multiplication and abundance. We too, with whatever little that we have, should not worry or be anxious about how we are going to sustain or feed our family, let alone help others. Offer up whatever little that you have to God, for everything comes from Him, and He will multiply and provide for you and your family in ways you never expect, more than what is needed and more than what you can do yourself without reliance on God. You see that it is said, they all ate and were satisfied. When you trust in God's provision instead of trusting on the work of your own hands or relying on your own limited understanding based on worldly circumstances, you will allow God to take over and handle whatever lacking that you have. He will provide you abundantly to the extent that you have more than enough to even share it with those other than your own family. See, it is said, they took up 12 baskets full of broken pieces and of the fish, which means there were a lot of leftovers even after being able to feed 5,000 people. The significance of Jesus' command to sit down in groups on green grass is fulfilling the Old Testament of Psalm 23:2, where it is said, "He makes me lie down on green pastures." And if we look at Psalm 23:1, it is said, "The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I lack." Green grass also symbolizes fresh and abundant life, where the shepherd, which is Jesus, leads his sheep to green pastures where they shall be filled. And see, it is said, He commanded them all to sit down in groups on the green grass. And the following verse is, so they sat down in groups by hundreds and by 50s. So there is a humble obedience from the people despite not knowing what He was about to do. Nobody knew that He was going to perform a miracle. Nobody knew what was going to happen, but they obeyed Jesus anyway. And in our own lives, we must also do the same, like little children, like Jesus' flock of sheep, with humble obedience, go to wherever He asks us to go and do whatever He tells us to do. And only then, with the humble obedience, He can perform miracles in our lives. We sow the seeds of faith, and God gives the increase. Peace be with you.